Welcome to tonight's broadcast of Grand View Viking men's basketball here on 88.1 KDPS, here with Sports Director Andrew McGuire as it is senior night here from Sissom Arena in Des Moines on the campus of Grand View as we bring tonight's Heart of America Athletic Conference matchup between the visiting Benedictine Eagles as they made the trip up here to Des Moines for the rematch, Game 2 of this seasonal head-to-head matchup between the Grand View Vikings. Tonight's matchup features the hosting Vikings and their 13-14 overall record and conference record of 7-13, which is good enough to be tied for 10th place in the conference standings as the season will wind down and end this Saturday when the Vikings travel for their final game and final conference game at Mid-America Nazarene. That's set for a 4 o'clock tip-off at Mid-America Nazarene near Kansas City after the women tip-off and finish action. The women's tip-off at Mid-America Nazarene set for 2 o'clock. But again, tonight, it's all about Benedictine for the Grand View men as they're in 10th place, and Benedictine with their 14-12 overall record, 8-12 in the conference, they find themselves sitting at number 7 in the current standings heading into tonight's matchup. Now there are 12 teams in the conference, the Heart of America Athletic Conference, that Grand View switched over to this year for all sports, not just men's basketball, women's basketball, but all sports. They switched over to this conference, and only 10 teams make it to the postseason conference tournament out of 12 teams, only 10 teams make it. Grand View, if it ended tonight, would have the 10th and final spot because they are currently sitting at number 10 in the conference, and they are playing host to the team that is in 7th place. The last time these two teams met, Grand View took the L as they lost 84-70. That was back on January 14th at Benedictine. Tonight, head coach Dennis Schaefer, who's in his 18th season with the Grand View Vikings, they try to get the split on the season as they host Coach Ryan Moody, who's in his 5th season with Benedictine. And they're coming off a loss as well as they traveled to William Penn last Saturday and lost 82-77. Talking to the radio broadcasters before the game for Benedictine, they said it was a tough loss, they should have won, and this team is very banged up heading into tonight's game, as there are multiple people scratched from the lineup here tonight for Benedictine, including their leading stealsman, CJ Vallejo. He had 25 steals on the season, the junior guard out of Kansas City. He will be scratched from the lineup due to injuries, and so will the leading scorer and leading assistman for Benedictine, John Harris Jr., who averages 14.5 points per game and 5.5 assists. He also scratched from the lineup due to injury. Harris, a 6'2 guard out of Lincoln, Nebraska. But we will look at the starters for both teams, the ones that will be playing, and it is senior night here tonight in Sissom Arena for Grand View, as it's the final home game for the Vikings. Starting for Grand View, get used to hearing senior, as it's senior number 5, Sam Scogan. The senior guard stands at 5'11". He's out of Mason City, Iowa. Joining him will be Nick Lyon, the senior forward, who stands at 6'7" from Mount Pleasant, Iowa. He has 26 blocks on the year. Also joining him in the starting lineup for this very young Vikings team, as that does it for the seniors here on this roster. So joining him will be two sophomores rather, and a junior. Junior number 11, Kerry Green, who's a 6-foot guard from Missouri City, Texas, will be the third starter for Grand View. Joining him, number 14, Nate Washington, who has 30 steals on the year. The sophomore forward stands at 6'6". He's out of Houston, Texas. And rounding out the starting lineup for Coach Schaefer's Vikings, number 42, Juwan Hadnot, who has an average of 13.96 points per game and 5.7 rebounds per contest. The sophomore forward stands at 6'3". He's out of Beaumont, Texas. For the visiting Benedictine Ravens and Coach Ryan Moody, who's in his 5th season with the squad. They'll look at number 20, Thomas O'Connor, the freshman guard, who stands at 5'11", out of Wichita, Kansas, to lead them, along with another freshman, number 23, Adam Cutney. The forward stands at 6'6", out of Overland Park, Kansas. Joining him, a man that averages 5.5 rebounds per contest, junior forward, Jake Shawnett, 6'5", junior, out of Herman, Missouri. Also, a young guy in the lineup for Coach Moody, number 32, sophomore forward at 6'7", out of Omaha, Nebraska, Christian Hatterley. And the 5th starter rounding out the starting lineup for Benedictine tonight in this conference matchup, number 33, Sean Fleming Jr. The senior guard stands at 6'2" and is from Dayton, Ohio. So as we finish out our starting lineups from here at Sissom Arena from the PA announcer, we are almost ready to get underway for tonight's broadcast here on 88.1 KDPS of Heart of America Athletic Conference basketball between the 13 and 14 Grand View Vikings and the 14 and 12 Benedictine Ravens. The next time these two teams will compete, it'll be Benedictine, the team that traveled here tonight. They'll be hosting CMU on Saturday at 4 o'clock. CMU, Central Methodist, down in Fayette, Missouri. Grand View, the next time they'll play will be when they round out their regular season. That's at Mid-America Nazarene on Saturday when they hit the road to take on ranked Mid-America Nazarene. That'll be at 4 o'clock after the women's contest at 2 o'clock. The last time these two teams met was on January 14th at Benedictine, where Benedictine, with a much different lineup, a very healthy lineup, they won by 14, 84-70. Coach Schaefer, as it is senior night, the last time the Vikings will play on this court, so we think, will all depend how the regular season fares out come Saturday, thinking this will be the last game from Sissom Arena here in the 2015-2016 season. We are underway, and Nick Lyon of Grandview wins the tip, tipping it to Grandview. Lyon will have it on the wing. He'll pass it over to Hadnot, top of the key. Now Kerry Green, closely guarded by this man-to-man defense, dishes over to Scogan. Scogan drives, brings it back out, now over to Lyon. Lyon hands it off to Green. Handoff pass back to Scogan. Scogan will fire up a three. The senior no good from the right wing. Offensive rebound tipped around and retrieved by Nate Washington of Grandview. So half a minute into it, 2 possessions for Grandview. Pass to Nick Lyon, now a handoff pass back to Washington. Fires up a deep 2 from the left wing, and it's up and good. Nate Washington of Grandview with the long 2 from the left wing to give Grandview an early 2-0 advantage over Benedictine, almost a minute into this first half. Grandview showing a man-to-man defense against Benedictine here as Shawnett has it. Pass over to the wing. That's O'Connor. He's dribbling the left elbow. We'll send it over to the corner to Fleming Jr. Now back up top to O'Connor. Tries getting it down low to the guy Lyons guarding, and he puts it up. That's number 32, Christian Hatterley, the sophomore forward out of Omaha, tying things up 2-2. 18:45 remaining first half. Now Juwan Hadnot will fire up a deep 2 of his own. No good from the right side. Rebound retrieved by Fleming of Benedictine. Man-to-man defense once again on this possession by Grandview. Green guarding Fleming. Fleming sends it over to Shawnett. Now back to Fleming. 18:20 to go on the game clock. Firing up a 3 from the top of the key, and no good from Fleming. Offensive rebound by Kerry Green of Grandview. Now Nate Washington, he'll fire up a 3 of his own. Too strong off the back of the iron. Rebound uncontested to Shawnett of Benedictine. 2 minutes into the contest, 2-2 is where we stand here in the Heart of America Athletic Conference matchup between the hosting Vikings of Grandview and the visiting Ravens of Benedictine. Now we have a foul away from the ball as they're going to get an offensive foul against Benedictine as they were trying to get in position down low. It's going to be the first foul called of the contest for either team. And with 17:45 left in the first half, it'll turn it over to Grandview as Juwan Hadnot sends it out to Kerry Green, who looks for the screen from Hadnot. Decides not to roll, but to dish off it and draw the foul against Adam Cutney, the freshman forward out of Overland Park, Kansas, for Benedictine. So 2-2 is still where we stand. Scogan will inbound from underneath his own basket. As he slaps the ball, gets it into Kerry Green at the top of the key. And backdoor pass off the mark, trying to get Juwan Hadnot cut into the hoop, stolen away by Benedictine with 17.5 to go here on 88.1 KDPS. 2-2 ball game. Still here early, first half. Handoff pass to Shawnett. Shawnett dribbles to the right elbow. Now pass to Sean Fleming Jr. He drives through the lane, up off the glass, too strong from the left side. Rebound by Nick Lyon, the senior, for Grandview. Kerry Green now to Nate Washington, top of the key. Thinks about it, too closely guarded. Instead, sends it over to Sam Scogan on the left wing. Now, Juwan Hadnot in the left corner. Drives to the paint. And they're going to get a travel on Juwan, saying he carried him to the basketball, trying to get to the lane on his defender. So turnover Grandview will put it back into the hands of Benedictine with exactly 17 minutes to go here, first half. Now checked into the game is Eustace Norvias, who has 10 blocks for Benedictine. He's got it down low, and his hook shot is up and good over the Grandview defense to now give Benedictine the slight advantage, 4-2 here in the early going. Juwan Hadnot quickly on the other end, tries to cut into it, can't hit, but the senior Nick Lyon with a big offensive board will send it back out with a fresh shot clock. Now Juwan gets it to Kerry. Kerry Green will set something up here, 16.5 minutes to go. Kerry on the right wing, he'll fire up a three, up and good. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Kerry Green of Grandview. Lead back to Grandview by one, 5-4, 16:15 remaining. Now at the top of the key, Benedictine tries to put something up against this man-to-man defense by Grandview, as they have it at the top of the key with Norvias. They send it down low, just a mismatch right there as Hatterley found himself in position on the bottom left block, scoring now. Lead change back to Benedictine, 6-5. Juwan Hadnot saw a mismatch of his own as he took his defender to the hole, drew the foul, couldn't get the end one to fall, but he'll head to the free throw line for 2 shots. With 15:49, Juwan will step to the line. Sophomore forward out of Beaumont. 62% free throw shooter on the year. His free throw, first of 2, no good, as Nick Lyon and Sam Scogan, the 2 seniors, will head to the bench for a break. Checking in for Grandview is Jordan Brunko, as well as point guard Chase Mullen. Second shot coming from Juwan Hadnot. 6-5, Benedictine here in the early going. This one also no good by Hadnot. Long rebound controlled by Benedictine, so 6-5 is where we remain. 15:40 to go, first half here from System Arena in Des Moines on 88.1 KDPS. This is Austin Eckert with it, now checks into the ball game for Benedictine. He hands it off over to Sean Fleming Jr. Now dishing it down low, hook shot this time up and also good is Christian Hatterley with 4 points for Benedictine to make it 8-5. 15 minutes to go, first half. Chase Mullen on the left wing, sends it over to Nate Washington. Nate drives through the lane, up and good off the left glass. Nate Washington for the back heel. Driving through the lane and scoring is Nate Washington of Grandview to cut into the lead. Now just a 1-point lead for Benedictine, 8-7 in the first half. Now Austin Eckert with it on the left wing, guarded by Mullen. Long pass across the court over to his teammate, that's Fleming. They get it down low once again to Hatterley. This time it's blocked by Juwan Hadnot. Retrieved by Hatterley, however. He goes back up with it a second time, a little bit stronger, and draws the foul. So Hatterley will head to the line for 2 shots. They're going to get Chase Mullen with the foul. That's the first called against Grandview here in the first half. Benedictine has 3 fouls called against themselves. First shot up and no good from Hatterley off the back of the rim. Checking in for Grandview is Alex Welsh. Welsh, the junior center, stands at 6'9". He's out of Fontenelle, Iowa, checking in for Jordan Brunko. Second shot coming from Hatterley of Benedictine. This time up and good. So 1 of 2 from the line is Hatterley as he heads to the bench for a break, and checking in for him is number 14, Vaquan Clark, the junior guard at 6'1" out of Wichita, Kansas, for the Ravens of Benedictine, who have a 2-point lead here in the early going 9-7, 14.5 minutes to go, first half. Juwan Hadnot on the right wing, sends it across court over to Kerry Green in the corner. He'll fire up a three, and a good. Once again, second three of the ball game here in the early going for Kerry Green to give the lead back to Grandview. Now 10-9, Vikings on top of the Ravens. Dribbling up the court, recently checked in Vaquan Clark, sends it over to Sean Fleming Jr., dribbles off a screen, now dishes it out to an open Jake Shawnett. Can't hit the three. Rebound, Nate Washington of Grandview. He'll dribble up the court. Heads to the right wing, now through the lane, sends it out Juwan Hadnot. Juwan fires from the left elbow, too strong. Rebound, Benedictine and Shawnett. Clark will bring it up the court. 13:50 remaining, 10-9 here. Grandview on top in the first half over Benedictine on 88.1 KDPS. Andrew McGuire with you. As Benedictine's going to throw it away. Miscommunication between Clark and his teammate number 30, recently checked in sophomore forward Peyton Heinen. Can't control the pass. Will go out of bounds to the Grandview bench, so it'll be turnover Benedictine, now back in the hands of Grandview. Chase Mullen will bring it up the court. Once again, going against this man-to-man defense, he finds Welsh. Now back to Washington, top the key. Coming off a screen, Kerry Green will fire up his third three of the ball game. Third time was not a charm. As the long rebound, last touched by Grandview, will send it back Benedictine's way with 13:26 remaining. Grandview still with the slight advantage, 10-9 over conference opponent Benedictine. The last time these two teams met, Grandview lost 70-84. That was back on January 14th at Benedictine. Coach Schaefer hoping for a different outcome here tonight on senior night. Final game here in System Arena for the season. Now, Coach Schaefer's team showing a man-to-man defense once again against Thomas O'Connor with it at the top of the key. 7 on the shot clock. He'll fire up a deep two. Short. Rebound tipped around. Retrieved by Benedictine underneath the basket. Put back good by number 30, Peyton Heinen of Benedictine. Lead change back to Benedictine, 11-10, 12:50 to go, first half. As they get an offensive foul, they're going to get Alex Welsh with the illegal screen for Grandview. Kareem Martin checks into the ballgame for Juwan Hadnot of Grandview. So we now see Mullen, Green, Washington, Martin, and Welsh in for the Grandview Vikings. Down one, playing defense here on Benedictine, who have the current ballgame lead, 11-10, 12.5 minutes. Heinen, top of the key, dished it off, sets a screen, now over to Clark, and they now get it over to Eckert. Goes baseline, denied by Washington and Welsh. They'll get it back to the top of the key. Quick ball movement, back over to Clark for corner three. In and out, no good. Rebound, retrieved by Kerry Green of Grandview. He'll dribble up the court with 12:15 remaining, down one. He'll fire up a deep two from the right elbow. Short is Green. Quick possession. Coach Schaefer not happy with that quick possession as it's right back in the hands of Benedictine. Quick shot by Grandview, not executed. Now Benedictine with it. Norvius had the ball and playing the action, saying there was a foul down low charged against Grandview. That's Welsh getting called with the personal. That's his second foul. He'll head to the bench as Nick Lyon checks back in for him. Kerry Green will also head to the bench. Checking back in along with the senior Nick Lyon is senior Sam Scogan. Inbound from underneath their own basket is Benedictine. And driving through the lane, having his shot blocked by Grandview is Thomas O'Connor, the freshman guard, denied by the man-to-man defense of Grandview. So Grandview heads up the court with it. Martin tries to go baseline, sends it across the baseline to Nick Lyon with a nice 15-footer to give Grandview the lead here, 12-11. 11.5 minutes to go in the first half. Thomas O'Connor guarded by Scogan. Hands it off to his teammate, that's Eckert. Eckert, handoff pass back to Clark. They send it on over to Norvius, who drives baseline. His shot up and blocked by Kareem Martin. Nate Washington comes away at the rebound. He'll head down the court and draw the foul and get the basket. Nate Washington getting the rebound, heading down the court. Only a few seconds later, he'll head to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three. Nate Washington, sophomore forward out of Houston, Texas, will head to the free throw line and try and hit the three-pointer the hard way from the charity stripe. So with 11:16 remaining in the first half, Nate Washington does hit the old-fashioned three. He'll head to the bench and get a break as Juwan Hadnot checks back in for the Viking. It's now a 4-point lead for Grandview, the largest of either team here in the first half. 15-11, 11 minutes remaining. As Benedictine dribbles up the court with Clark, he heads over to the left wing, now into the corner. He'll come back out with it, drive through the lane, dish it out to O'Connor. O'Connor loses a handle on it. Benedictine retrieves it. 8 on the shot clock, under 11 minutes to go on the game clock. They send it over to Norvias, who was able to see a window, drive through it, and lay it off the glass. Great defense by Grandview, except for the final 5 seconds as Norvias saw a window and scored as the shot clock was winding down. And quickly, Grandview tries to get back on the board. Too quickly, back in the hands of Benedictine we go. 15-13, Grandview on top here. 10.5 minutes to go first half here on 88.1 KDPS with Andrew McGuire. Man-to-man defense shown by Grandview. And coming off the screen is Austin Eckert. He finds the man that set him the pick, and rolling was Heinen. He can't hit. Rebound offensively. They send it out to number 20. That's Thomas O'Connor for a three. It was no good. Rebound, Chase Mullen, as he gets it ahead to Sam Scogan. His three can't hit. Offensive rebound by Kareem Martin for a second before he lost the handle on it. Last touch by Martin of Grandview, so it'll head Benedictine's way, as they will try to tie this ball game up or even take the lead on this possession. Down to 15-13, 10 minutes to go first half. So Fleming Jr. back into the ball game for Benedictine, brings it up the court. Now over to O'Connor. O'Connor guarded by Chase Mullen, picks up his dribble. Back over to Fleming Jr. He'll dribble to the left with 10 on the shot clock. Sends it across the court. That's over to Eckert. Eckert gets it down low to Hatterley, who's working on Lyon. Crowd wanted to travel. Regardless, he missed the shot. Great defense by Nick Lyon. Sends it back over to Grandview. Rebound by Hadnot. Sam Scogan tries to go baseline, and unfortunately the ball hit the baseline, so it'll be turnover by Grandview, as Scogan tried to go baseline on his defender before he went up with that layup. So still we remain 15-13. Now 9.5 minutes to go first half for this Heart of America Athletic Conference matchup between Grandview, the host team, and the visiting team of Benedictine. Man-to-man defense once again, like Grandview's been shown this entire first half. O'Connor with it, top of the key, takes a screen. The roll's not there, so he'll send it over to Fleming Jr. Now they get it over to Hatterley. Hatterley working on Lyon once again, deja vu all over. This shot blocked by Nick Lyon. That's Nick's 27th block of the year. Scogan brings it up the court, 8:50 to go, first half. We'll set up a play. He's joined by Mullen, Hadnot, who now has the ball, Nick Lyon, who now has the ball, and Kareem Martin, who now has the ball. Great ball movement by Grandview. Unfortunately, Martin can't score from the baseline, too strong off the glass. Now Benedictine with the ball. Still, 15-13 is where we remain. Now 8.5 minutes to go first half. Fleming Jr. hands it off to his teammate. That's number 25, Jake Shawnett, the junior forward out of Herman, Missouri. Traveling with the basketball before he put that shot up from in front of the rim. So turnover, Benedictine sends it back Grandview's way as Nate Washington and Kerry Green check back into the ball game for Kareem Martin and Chase Mullen. So Green, Washington, Hadnot, Scogan, and Lyon in for the Vikings of Grandview. Kerry Green sends it over to Nate Washington on the right wing. Not there, quickly back to Green, now back to Washington. Kerry wants to set something up here with quick ball movement, as that ball movement by Washington trying to feed it down low to Hadnot was tipped away. It'll remain Grandview's ball with 8:08 remaining, up to 15-13 underneath their own basket. Lineup will stay the same for Grandview as Scogan will get the ball handed to him. He'll slap it and try and look to get it in. He does so to Kerry Green. Green looks down low to Lyon. Now quickly back over to Scogan. Scogan fires up the 15-foot floater from the baseline and scores. The senior, Sam Scogan, with his first bucket of the contest here on senior night from Sissa Marina. Now O'Connor with it for Benedictine. Handoff pass. That's to Nathan Stacy, the junior forward out of Shawnee, Kansas, in for Coach Moody's Benedictine Ravens, as the handoff pass is quickly given over to Fleming. Fleming can't score with his wild layup reverse. And it's tipped around, last touch by Benedictine. As they went to go get the long rebound that went past half court, they're going to get an over and back call against Benedictine. So it'll be Grandview's ball, center court with 7:36 remaining, first half. Grandview up 4, 17-13, tying their largest lead of the evening, and that's just 4 points. So Kerry Green on the left wing. We'll send it over to Scogan in the corner. Scogan gets it down low to Hadnot. It's not there. They dish it back out to Scogan. He fires up a 3, but it's blocked out of bounds by Benedictine's number 35, Nathan Stacy. So it'll remain with Grandview's ball off the block by Stacy. Scogan gets it to Nate Washington. Now Washington clears it out to Kerry Green, top of the key. 13 on the shot clock, 7:15 on the game clock. They're going to get a foul on Kerry Green's man, number 25. That's Jake Shawnett with his personal. That's the 6th team foul charged against Benedictine here in the first half. Grandview, they only have 3. Hadnot inbounds it to Kerry Green, back to Juwan. He can't hit the jumper from the free throw line, so it'll go back Benedictine's way with 7 minutes remaining. Grandview still up 4, 17-13 here on 88.1 KDPS for Heart of America Athletic Conference basketball. On the right wing is Fleming. He's working on Green. He fires up the floater, hits it, and's fouled in the process. So Sean Fleming Jr. going to the line for the and one as he cuts into the lead and cut into it a little bit more here if he can hit the free throw. It's currently 17-15 where we stand. Pending free throw coming from Fleming. This shot up and too strong. Rebound Juwan Haddon out of Grandview, so we remain 17-15. Grandview up 2 here, 6:45 remaining first half from Sis Marina. As they get another foul charged against Chase Mullins' guy. This time number 35, Nathan Stacy, again getting called for the personal. That's the 7th team foul against Benedictine, so Grandview will head to the line with Chase Mullen for the 1-and-1 chance. He gets the roll and then some and a couple bounces, so with the first one falling, Chase Mullen will head to the line for the second one coming. It's now 18-15 Grandview. Second one good, so perfect from the line is Chase Mullen of Grandview. Chase, the junior point guard, stands at 5'10". He's from Friendswood, Texas, as he joins his teammates showing a full court press here against Benedictine. They're able to break it, get it across the timeline with Fleming Jr. as he hands it off to Shawnett. Shawnett dribbles baseline, around the perimeter, and back out top. Now Fleming with it, 10 on the shot clock, 6.5 minutes to go game clock. He steps to the right elbow and hits. Sean Fleming Jr. with a wide open 2 from the right elbow. Cuts into the 4-point lead that Grandview built up. Now just a 2-point lead. Timeout on the floor. With 6:21 remaining first half, we see Grandview up 2 on Benedictine, 19-17, as Benedictine calls the first timeout of the half for either team. So Grandview has all 6 of theirs left if they need them here in the final 6 minutes. Benedictine now only has 5. And every time Grandview steps to the free throw line from here on out, or every time they're fouled rather, here in the first half from here on out, will be sent to the free throw line, as Benedictine charged with 7 team fouls already. Grandview, they've only been charged with 4. Again, Grandview with an early 19-17 lead here in the first half. They also have the possession arrow with 6:21 remaining. They're coming off a win as they traveled to Baker last Saturday and won by 5, 86-81. to get the split against Baker on the season, and they'll also be looking for another split as they travel for their last regular season game of the season here this Saturday, heading down to Kansas City to take on Mid-America Nazarene this Saturday at 4 o'clock. The women will also finish their regular season right before the men at 2 o'clock at Mid-America Nazarene as well. Last time the men took on Mid-America Nazarene, they lost 77-94. That was back on January 11th. And the last time they took on this very Benedictine squad, they lost as well, 70-84. That was on January 14th. So it was a rough week back then on the 11th and 14th of January. So now here in this week, also taking on Benedictine and Mid-America Nazarene, Coach Schaefer hoping for a different story. Coming out of the timeout, it's Juwan Hadnot baseline, looking down low to the senior Nick Lyon, who cuts to the basket and scores. So now it's back to a 4-point lead for Grandview, 5:50 remaining, first half. As Fleming Jr. sends it over to his teammate, that's number 34, Eustace Norvias. And they're going to get an offensive foul. A legal screen by Benedictine trying to get into position against Norvias. So off the foul, it'll turn it back over to Grandview with 5:43 remaining. They're up 21-17, first half. You're listening to Grand View Viking basketball here on 88.1 KDPS with Andrew McGuire. Calling senior night in the final home meeting for Grandview in the regular season as Nate Washington sends it over to Juwan Hadnot on the left wing. Juwan fires up a floater, thought he got the foul, but regardless of what he thinks, he did score. Unfortunately, did not get to head to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three. He'll take the two. It's now 23-17, the largest lead for either team here in the first half of 6 points. Still showing a man-to-man defense is Grandview as they get it up ahead to Sean Fleming Jr. Now back to O'Connor. O'Connor down low to Adam Cutney, the freshman forward. They're going to get an offensive foul against Cutney as both Juwan Hadnot and Chase Mullen were down low, defending him, taking the charge. And with 5:01 remaining in the first half, it'll turn it over to Grandview. They're up 6, can now build on the largest lead they've had all night even more. As Chase Mullen, he'll fire up a three from the left wing. That'll build a lead up. He hits it from the left wing. It's now 26-17. Grandview up 9 here in the first half on conference opponent Benedictine from Sissa Marina here in Des Moines. Benedictine tries a three of their own, and also hitting is number 20, Thomas O'Connor, the freshman guard out of Wichita. Sends it back to a 6-point lead, and just like that, Kerry Green sends it back up to a 9-point lead. Another three for Kerry Green following Chase Mullins. That's Kerry's third here in the first half. So 9-point lead, 29-20, approaching 4 minutes to go first half as Benedictine gets it down low and cuts into that 9-point lead, just feeding it down low simply to Hatterley, working on Jordan Brunko of Grandview. Now Chase Mullen will take a screen from Brunko, work off, and it's not there. He sends it over to Nate Washington. Washington will fire up a corner three. Good. The last 3 possessions for Grandview have resulted in 3 3-pointers in a row. Now if the defense can just hold from Benedictine from scoring every time, they'll be sitting good. Now up 10. Largest lead of the night for Grandview, 32-22, 3.5 minutes remaining. As Benedictine turns it over, trying to go baseline to Christian Hatterley. Couldn't quite get it as Nate Washington was standing in his way, got the steal. Nate, that's his 31st steal of the season for Grandview. He'll head to the free throw line as Benedictine had no choice but to foul him, preventing him from an easy bucket, possible dunk. And we have a timeout on the floor before Nate Washington sends those free throws towards the basket. So 32-22 is where we stand with 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go first half. From Sissa Marina here in Des Moines, Andrew McGuire with you for this broadcast of Heart of America Athletic Conference Basketball. Grandview's 13-14 on the year. They're 7-13 in conference play. And they're tied for 10th tonight, heading into tonight in Heart of America Athletic Conference standings. Benedictine, the team that traveled up here to Grandview, they're 7th in the conference standings as of tonight. 14-12 on the year, 8-12 in conference play is Coach Ryan Moody and his Ravens. Coach Schaefer, who's in his 18th season with Grandview, looking to get the season split and a little more of a comfortable position in the conference standings as Nate Washington, coming out of the timeout, hits the first of 2, so he'll be rewarded a second one as he's now building up the largest lead that Grandview's had all night and does it again there. It's now a 12-point lead for Grandview as Nate Washington hits both free throws. 34-22, 3.5 minutes remaining. Grandview showing a full court press. And it's going to be close as Benedictine barely gets it across the timeline in time. And on the other end of things, they look ahead as they try getting it ahead to Christian Hatterley. They do so. Nick Lyon I thought he had a clean block there, but regardless of what the radio guy thinks here, it's going to be number 32, Christian Hatterley, heading to the line as Nick Lyon is charged with the foul. That's the 5th against Grandview here in the first half. With 3:21 remaining, Hatterley hits his first to make it a 34-23 contest for the moment. He can't cut it into it anymore, but getting the offensive rebound is his teammate. That's number 25, Jake Shawnett. And firing up a 3 is Benedictine quickly off the offensive rebound. No good. Rebound by Juwan Haddon out of Grandview. He's dribbling up the court, sends it to his point guard, Chase Mullen. Chase on the baseline, throws it away, trying to get it back to Juwan, and Juwan's going to foul the man that stole it. That's Sean Fleming Jr. of Benedictine. So that'll be the 6th team foul charged against Grandview in this first half. With 3:04 remaining, Benedictine will dribble up the court with O'Connor. They're down 11, 34-23 to Grandview. O'Connor dribbles to the left elbow, kicks it back out, now to Shawnett. Shawnett over to Fleming on the right wing in front of the Grandview bench. Tries feeding it down low, knocked away by Nick Lyon, but retrieved by Hatterley. Hatterley gets it back out to Fleming with 10 on the shot clock. Now firing up a 3, a long 3, no good. Attempted by Benedictine Shawnett. Rebound Washington of Grandview. He gets it to Mullen. Mullen dribbling to the baseline. Now looks to get it back out. With 2.5 minutes to go, they're up 11, 34-23. Largest lead of the night was 12. Grandview currently up 11 as Nick Lyon throws it away, trying to get a pass across the court. A very dangerous pass, intercepted by Fleming, intended for Kerry Green. Now Fleming, handoff pass to O'Connor. O'Connor thinks about a 3, now guarded by Nick Lyon at the top of the key. Over to Fleming, he'll fire up a 3, off the rim, no good. Juwan Haddon out of Grandview with the rebound. 2 minutes to go. Hadnot now throws it away over to Benedictine. He couldn't quite get it to Nick Lyon, who was open underneath the basket, but by the time he saw him, it was too late. So now Hatterley will send it to Fleming with 1:45 to go on the game clock and 16 on the shot clock. Fleming dribbles the left elbow, looks to get it back out, but he travels before he does so. And the turnover by Benedictine will send it back Grandview's way, as number 14, Vaquan Clark, and number 31, Austin Eckert, will check in for the Ravens of Benedictine. But not before we have a timeout on the floor. Here with 1:42 remaining, Benedictine going to take another timeout as they're down 11 here in the first half to Coach Schaefer's Vikings. Coming out of the timeout for Grandview, we're going to see Nick Lyon, Kerry Green, Nate Washington, Juwan Hadnot, and Chase Mullen. For Benedictine, we are going to see number 14, Vaquan Clark, number 20, Thomas O'Connor, number 34, Eustace Norvius, number 31, Austin Ecker, and also number 32, Christian Hatterley, as they show a 2-3 zone defense coming out of the timeout, as Mullen looked to take advantage of it, trying to hit Juwan Hadnot on the baseline alley-oop. Wasn't there, denied, but Nick Lyon cleaned it up and laid it off the glass for 2 points. So Grandview's lead up to 13 now, 36-23, as they show a full court press that Benedictine's able to break. Approaching 1 minute to go, first half. Firing up a long 2 from the top of the key and hitting is Thomas O'Connor, the freshman guard out of Wichita, to make it 36-25 Grandview, 1:05 remaining. Chase Mullen gets it over to Kerry Green on the near wing. We're under 1 minute to go here, first half, from Sissom Arena on 88.1 KDPS. Grandview versus Benedictine, as Nate Washington extends the lead, hitting a 3 from the left wing. It's now 39-25, 14-point lead. Grandview keeps building their lead up to the largest of the night. 14 is where we stand. That is the largest. As Clark dribbles against Mullen, sends it out to Eckert. Eckert tries getting it down low to Hatterley. It's stolen away by Nick Lyon. They get it ahead to Juwan Hadnot, who slams it home to now give Grandview a 16-point lead here in the first half. Shot clock is off as we approach 15 seconds to go. Benedictine looks to hold for the final shot. They'll head into the locker room, facing the deficit to Grandview, which is now 41-25. With 6 to go on the game clock, they send it out to Austin Eckert, who hits from 3 and Mullen will fire up a long shot at the buzzer. No good. So we head into halftime. 41-28. Grandview on top of Benedictine here. One half of play in the books from Sissom Arena here on the campus of Grandview in Des Moines. As Grandview defended Benedictine very well and then didn't do half bad of a job on the offensive side of things, as Benedictine, they rank number 7 in the nation in three-point percentage at .401, and they're also number 11 in the nation in three-pointers made, averaging 9.42 threes per contest. But here, they held Benedictine to 28 points in the first half and then built up 41 points themselves to get us to where we stand, 41-28 after one half of play here on 88.1 KDPS with Andrew McGuire. We'll be back in just a little bit to bring you the second half from Sissom Arena between Grandview and Benedictine for Heart of America Athletic Conference basketball.
Do you have what it takes to be the best on the court and say you own the rim? On Saturday, April 30th, the Association of Independent Urban Youth and RLL Enterprises will be putting on their Own the Rim event at Sissom Arena in the Johnson Wellness Center on the campus of Grandview University, located at 1500 Morton Avenue in Des Moines. There will be a 3-on-3 tournament, a slam dunk showout, a 3-point shootout, and special guest Kids Against Violent Steppers will be there, all hosted by Leezy. But the best part of all, a percentage of the admission proceeds will go to helping people in Flint, Michigan. Adults and children of all ages are welcome to take part. So try and get to Sissom Arena on the campus of Grandview Saturday, April 30th from 3 to 7 p.m. to show everyone what you got, prove that you own the rim, and take part in a great cause. If you'd like more information or want to reserve your spot, you can call 515-447-0912.
So Alex takes up the middle, and he'll keep it, and he'll go into the end zone completely untouched to the left side as Alex Bush, who's now in for Grandview as the quarterback on this drive, takes his team the entire length of the field and punches it in, as it is now 75-0. Grandview on top of Culver-Stockton here with 7:24 to go in this final quarter. Jeff, yeah, it's another touchdown. However, to see Alex and to see these young guys go the length of the field like that and able to punch it in, even when you're denied multiple times right at the goal line, as Nissen adds the extra point, making it 76-0 Grandview. You know, you got to be happy as a coach to see those young guys able to do that against, a first-team team. Yes, it's been a long day for Culver-Stockton. However, it's pretty great to see young guys able to do such that.
Yeah, I agree. I really like how they're, getting new players in, going through the line of quarterbacks to get them some experience, some reps. They're working all the running backs, getting Jerry in there. That it's great to see a freshman out getting a touchdown, and then huge plays in that drive, and then for Alex Bush to be able to run it in. It's really great just to see everyone getting reps, getting experience, because, how often do you have games like this where you can get experience?
Right. And the fact that this is the first time Grandview's really had the opportunity to do that instead of being forced to do it, due to injuries on defense especially, and, having to bring these young guys up to do that, it's been tough because you don't have a choice. You really don't. But today, having the choice, get these young guys in there and do that has been great to see, and then to see them succeed and execute like they have been is great. Nissen with the kickoff to Culver-Stockton as it's caught about the 5 and taken to about the 15. 20 is where Culver-Stockton will have it with 7:14 to go here in the fourth. Grandview up 76-0 on the Wildcat. A reminder, you can hear us next week as well at noon when Grandview hosts Benedictine in conference football action, and then also the following week at home against William Penn, both on gvvikings.com and KDPS. As this ball is picked off, and this is going to be taken to the house, by Grandview. That's number 21, Derek Rupp, as it was pretty obvious they were not on the same page, the Culver-Stockton quarterback and receiver, as Rupp was kind of there playing kind of his area. Nobody was coming to him, so he just kind of hung back, played his area, and we now have ourselves an 82-0 ball game with 7 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the contest.
So does that mean they got the 2 records?
Now, Jeff, it has to stay this advantage. Granted, with 7 minutes to go, anything could happen. They could get on the board, but yes, you are correct. The largest,
at this point, they have the records. Now they just have to hold it.
Right. 77 points is the school record for points scored, and 70 points is the margin of victory, as Joey Nissen adds to the lead, making it 83-0 with the pick 6 by Derek Rupp. Jeffrey, as you head into next week's game against Benedictine and also William Penn, obviously you watch the other team's film, but you also watch yourself a lot too. What are the coaches going to take away from this game? Because, after a while, what do you take away? Do you say, oh, that play was great? Oh, then again, we were up 76-0 when that interception happened. How much of this do you think helps them in hopefully wins against Benedictine and William Penn to finish out the regular season with only that one loss to Baker?
You can there's always room for improvement. Yeah, they got an interception right there, but, maybe a defender wasn't doing something exactly right, so then they could focus on that. So, there's a positive to the play, but also, someone was out of position, that they can really make it so everyone's on the same page. Watching film, always room for improvement to better themselves.
That's a very good point, as Nissen kicks this one out of the back of the end zone, as it is now 83-0 with 7 minutes to go. Culver-Stockton will take over and try and do something here in the final minutes to not necessarily make this a ball game, but to be into this ball game. An update from men's soccer that's currently in action right now. They're also taking on Mid-America Nazarene like the women did earlier, as Mid-America Nazarene strikes first. Grandview trailing 1-0 with 35 minutes left in the first half. Thank you for the update from Viking Athletics. So ball at the 25 due to the touchback from Nissen's kick with 7:06 to go. They'll snap it from the shotgun as Culver-Stockton looks to throw, and they're sacked and fumbled. As Grandview looks to jump on it, it's going to be close. Culver-Stockton may have jumped back on it, and Grandview has the football. Grandview has the football at the 20-yard line of Culver-Stockton with 6:57 to go, up 83-0. 20 yards to go before another possible strike by the Vikings. Jeff, right there, it was pretty obvious that Grandview had the advantage there on the line with how quickly the defensive line got in there. But it's great to see guys coming in there just like crazy trying to get that ball. They're trying to be a part of this. They're just trying to do anything they can to help contribute to what could be a game that,
Like you said, everyone is doing their part, and that was a great play that executed nicely.
So Alex Bush back in for Grandview. He'll hand it off to the right side, as this time it appears he handed off to his roommate. That's number 19 of Grandview, Marco Coleman. The junior wide receiver came out of motion. Coleman's out of Urbandale. He went from left to right on that. He was able to get about 6 yards there, so that'll bring up second down and 4 for Culver-Stockton. 6.5 minutes to go. Ball is on the 15-yard line of Culver-Stockton. As the players for Grandview check to get the sign, 5 seconds on the play clock. Bush looks to snap it, approaching the final 6 minutes. Bush does that and keeps. Goes left, goes right, able to get a couple yards, might be enough for a first down. Looks like they're going to check it out, and they're going to signal, yep, he did indeed get it. So now Alex Bush's run gets him inside the 10-yard line. With 6 minutes to go, Grandview, first down, first and goal Ball on the 9-yard line of Culver-Stockton, up 83-0. Grandview will send 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and they'll have Jerry Lowe in the backfield, who has been back there for most of the fourth quarter. They'll hand to Jerry, and he'll get in.
No one was around him. No one touched him.
As Jerry went up the middle, a little to his right, untouched into the end zone, is how Jerry Lowe makes this 89-0 with 5:38 left in the contest. So Nissen will head on out for the extra point. Nissen, nearly perfect on the entire day, has kicked every PAT and every kickoff, only missing that one early in the contest that went off the front, off the left upright. Other than that, big day for Joey, contributing to what is now a 90-0 ball game with that made extra point. So 5:38 to go here in this contest here from Canton, Missouri, that you're listening to on gvvikings.com and 88.1 FM KDPS in Des Moines, that you've been listening to Grand View Viking football on all season long, every Saturday. We hope you bring us with you next Saturday as well against Benedictine, as well as the following Saturday against William Penn. And wherever the Vikings go, however many times they play in the playoffs, if everything goes great like it has here today in Canton, 88.1 FM KDPS will go with them and bring you all the action there as well. Andrew McGuire and Jeffrey Fitzgerald here with you today for this call. Steve Harvey helping us out back, running the board for this game inside 88.1 studio. I want to thank him for his halftime updates that he's done throughout the entire year, as we're working well with the athletic department to bring you Grandview Athletics on 88.1 side of things. As Nissen's kick goes into the end zone, however, to be brought out by the return man, and Rupp sits him down at about the 15-yard line, as it was Culver-Stockton's Lamont Clark bringing it out of the end zone for about 15 yards before Rupp met him there. So with 5:31 to go, 90-0 Grandview. Like we received word earlier, the largest margin of victory was 70 points heading into today's contest. The most points ever scored was 77. That was set last year against Avila, 77-7. Today we've got 90, Jeff. Today we are witnessing Grandview Viking football history, you could say.
I like that.
As the Grandview defense continues to do what they've been doing all day, and that is swarm tackling, getting to the ball, and finishing. They're not just getting there, making contact, Jeff. They're finishing these plays together, no matter who it is, no matter which unit or which team is out on the field, whether it be a mixture of, experience or not. Right now, it's fair to say we're at the guys that normally don't see a whole lot of varsity football action, but they're playing like they are a varsity team together.
Yep, everyone is putting in a huge effort for putting up 90 points. That's impressive.
So Culver hands it off, heads out to the right, and they're kind of doing a lot of running themselves here into the final couple minutes of Culver-Stockton's chances of this ball game, chances to score. That is, so with 4:42 to go, the ball is currently on the 11-yard line of Culver-Stockton. It brings up 3rd down and 12 for the Wildcats here in the fourth quarter. As the clock starts, 10 seconds to go on the game clock. This game is winding down as Culver mishandles the snap and just jumps back on it. So that'll bring up 4th down for Culver-Stockton, as the snap was mishandled and had to be jumped on. So it brings up 4th and long. The ball is on the 6-yard line of Culver-Stockton, Jeff, as they obviously have to send out their punt unit for what is going to be a very tight, squeezed punt, staying in bounds, as the punter, John Harmon, is all the way backed up to his goal line. As he punts it, he does get it away. He kicks it about the 35-yard line, where Grandview's number 3, Lashid O'Neal, catches it, goes left, goes right, goes back to the left. Now he's going to decide to just go right and basically go out of bounds, as not much positive yardage was gained out of that. return. So with 3:52 to go, Grandview will take over on offense. Up 90-0 here in Canton, Missouri. For this Heart of America Athletic Conference matchup. As Grandview, with this win, will improve to 8-1 on the year. Culver-Stockton, they'll fall to 1-8 overall as Grandview looks to build upon this, heading into Benedictine next week, and William Penn to finish out the regular season the following week. Bush takes the handoff, or takes the snap, hands it off to his teammate, Jerry Lowe. Lowe able to get a good positive run out of it, get it all the way near down the 20-yard line with 3:42 to go. About a 19-yard run for the freshman running back, Jerry Lowe, who's been getting plenty of reps here in this final quarter. As the clock is moving, 3.5 minutes to go. Bush and the Vikings look to get the next play in. So we approach the final 10 seconds of game clock time and 3 minutes, play clock time, excuse me, and then 3 minutes overall on the game clock. As there's movement on the line, as they're going to get a false start against Grandview, backing them up a couple yards with 3:11 to go. That'll back them up to the 24-yard line of Culver-Stockton. So they'll try first down over again, this time first down and 15. Here in the final quarter of play of the football game. Now as Bush takes the snap, hands it off to Jerry. As Jerry Lowe is stood up at the line of scrimmage, and the play is blown dead with 2:30 left in the contest.
At this point, they just know it's going to be a run. It's just a matter of where it's going.
Right. Yeah, Culver kind of moving their linebackers up a little bit due to the fact that they know there is going to be holes trying to be created here. As Grandview looks for the next play with 2 minutes to go here. Bush takes the snap, hands off to Lowe. Lowe runs from the middle to the right as he tries to stay in bounds, but he's knocked out, and the clock will stop with 1:56 to go. That'll bring up third down for the Vikings here in the fourth quarter. Ball is on the 13-yard line. 3rd and 4 for Grandview. Those of you listening on 88.1 FM KDPS, shortly after we announce the final score here, we will resume to regular programming. Thank you, Steve Harvey, once again for sitting in for this entire broadcast and your halftime show. Those of you listening on gvvikings.com, we'll run down your stats before we sign off with you guys. As Alex Bush keeps it, heads to the right, and is tackled by multiple Wildcats as he's brought down eventually with 1:40 to go here in the ball game. And that'll bring up 4th down and short, 4th and about 2, with 1:30 to go. Ball on the 10-yard line of Culver-Stockton. Kind of an interesting situation here, Jeff. Yeah, you look at me, you're up 90-0. It's 4th and 1. I mean, you're not going to punt it, is the thing. Grandview not often kicking field goals other than extra points.
At this point, go for it. Run the clock down some more. Because then, hey, if you get it, then you can either finish off the clock or you can score one more time to really make that record just hard to beat.
As Grandview looks like they did get the first down here as Bush handed it off to Austin Regenweather, who's back into the ball game for Grandview, the junior running back. As we've approached the final minute of play here from Canton, Missouri, Grandview does indeed get the first down. And about 2 more plays, and that'll do it here from Canton, Missouri for regulation of this game. As Alex Bush takes a knee here with just over 30 seconds to go. 1 more of those is all he'll need. And they're just going to say that'll do it, as it was pretty close between the play clock and game clock for this contest. So that'll do it here, as we do have a final. It's Grand View over Culver-Stockton heading into Benedictine and William Penn to finish out the regular season. 90-0 here from Next Level Field in Canton, Missouri. Jeffrey, as we look at this game, we came in here thinking, to be honest, what we talked about most was, can the Grandview defense keep up with the pass game of Culver-Stockton? I think they proved to us they can do that, and they can also set up the Grandview offense very, very well, with whether they be forcing a 3-and-out and just field position coming off those punts, whether it be getting interceptions and returns off those interceptions, forcing fumbles, a lot of sacks, anything like that. I think they proved to us today that, and to all of our listeners and people viewing, that they can do it from all sides of the ball. And Culver-Stockton, when you kind of live and die by that offense doing so well, it makes it hard on your defense to, keep the game close, keep it around, and everything like that. What did you notice the most as you sat in on color commentator for this game?
I'm just, what I noticed and what I'm most impressed with is how everyone contributed to the game from Grandview today. They had their depth charts of their people went back, that freshman quarterback, he went in, he got some reps. And then Bush got in, he got reps. And then with the running backs, they got a lot of reps. And what I was also impressed with, like on defensively, you had people making plays that don't usually make plays. Today, they stepped up and made some big plays too. So I'm really impressed with just the fact of how well everyone stepped up, contributed to the team today. For those of you that were listening on 88.1 KDPS, we want to thank you for listening. We want to remind you that next week you can hear us right here on KDPS as we simulcast our gvvikings.com broadcast over our airwaves at KDPS. That'll be set for noon against Benedictine. For those of you listening on 88.1, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Dad!
Yes, darling.
Can we please go to Jolly Holiday Lights? Oh, please, please, please!
What is Holiday Jolly Lights?
Dad, it's Jolly Holiday Lights, and it's the Christmas event the nonprofit organization Make-A-Wish holds every year at the Waterworks Park. They have so many lights, and maybe Santa will be there.
Is that the ad that's been stuck in my head all week?
Does it go like this? Jolly Holiday Lights, yeah, it's the 20th year. From Make-A-Wish to you, come spread all your cheer.
You can walk, run, bike, or skate through the Waterworks Park front gate from November 24th until January 1st.
Oh, come help spread holiday cheer or sign up to volunteer. You can visit iwawish.org for more to hear.
Oh, Jolly Holiday Lights at Waterworks Park, it's the place to be. Make-A-Wish spreads holiday cheer and hopes you volunteer.
Hey! See, Dad, I told you knew what it was.
Let's go grab your mother.
This was so nice of you to reserve a table next to one of their fireplaces. How'd you even hear about Nick's Bar and Grill?
I was actually over at Valley West Mall across the street, and some retail woman told me about this place and their hand-cut steaks, made-from-scratch sides, dressing, and desserts.
Well, I like how they have private dining and rental space options, as well as seating in their bar and enclosed patio for a more social hour setting. Kind of makes this place kind of unique.
Me too. I actually grabbed one of their business cards so I can put their number in my phone. I guess they don't have a website or social media account.
Really? Whoa. Well, can I have that number too?
Sure. It's 515-221-1338.
Sorry, 515 what?
It's 515-221-1338.
Thanks. Well, cheers to a first date and to Nick's Bar and Grill.
Cheers. Oh, hey, here comes our server.
Hi, ready to hear about the specials?
Football playoff game between the visiting Grand View Vikings and the home Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders. I'm Andrew McGuire here on tvvikings.com and 88.1 KDPS, where we are simulcasting back on the campus of Grandview in Des Moines for what has been a first half that has been back and forth, and right now where we stand is Lindsey Wilson on top of Grandview 17-10. How we got there, Grandview got on the board first with a 24-yard field goal from Joey Nissen. Lindsey Wilson responded with a field goal themselves, tying it up at 3 apiece with a 25-yard field goal from Jared Doherty. Then Lindsey Wilson took the advantage with a Dylan Beasley pass to Jalen Sublett for 82 yards, making it 10-3. Lindsey Wilson on top of Grandview. Then Jordan Cheatham tying things up at 10 apiece as he had a 3-yard run to the right side of the end zone, tying it up at 10-all. But then Lindsey Wilson was able to take the lead and head into halftime with the lead 17-10 on a Beasley keeper 1-yard touchdown. And the extra point made it 17-10. And that is how we sit right now as Lindsey Wilson kicks it to the hands of Grandview, where Grandview is going to just jump on it on kind of the short pooch kick at the 30-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. So we are underway here in the second half on tvvikings.com and 88.1 KDPS. So for the second half of this opening round NAI FCS playoff football game. So Jordan Knock and company will head onto the field and try and make this ball game closer than what it currently is, and that's them trailing by 7 as Knock takes it and will send it over for a screen pass to Alex Bramer on the left. Bramer catches it, and he's going to get about 6 yards from his blockers. Marshall Clark was helping out blocking, and also the tight end Jake Groh for Grandview. As Grandview with the ball, second half underway, 14:45 to go here in the third quarter, as Knock is going to draw and get sacked in the backfield, as it was kind of a delayed draw was the setup play, and as soon as he made his first motion forward, he was sent to the ground by the defensive line of Lindsey Wilson that was able to get by the Grandview offensive line. So a loss on the play, loss of about 4 or 5 yards, brings up second and long for the Viking offense. As Knock, play action, is going to escape going down once again. Now he's going to break to his left and going to run out of bounds as he was chased out of bounds by Lindsey Wilson. Chris Oldham, the senior defensive lineman, was forcing him out to the left sideline in front of the Lindsey Wilson bench. So that brings up third down, and he's back to about the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10 for Jordan Knock and Grandview. So Knock, 2 receivers left to the right as he looks for one of them. He's going to throw it across the middle and overshoot Alex Bramer. That'll bring up 4th down and 10 for the Viking offense with 13:50 to go. As the punt unit, Jordan Stuvey and the special teams will come out for Grandview here on what was a quick first possession for Grandview to start out the second half. Here from Columbia, Kentucky, as Stuvey, high spiraling kick, gets it away to about the 15-yard line, where it's caught and returned for about 5 more yards for Lindsey Wilson, as the punt returner for Lindsey Wilson, Alan Cooks, is able to get it to about the 25-yard line on their side of the field. So Beasley, the quarterback, and Lindsey Wilson offense once again will head out onto the field as they have a very similar offense of Grandview. Receivers spread out to the left, one to the right, and the first snap of the second half is going to be a handoff from Beasley to his back, and he's going to only go for about 2-3 yards. The handoff there from Beasley to Jones, straight up the middle, tackled by the defensive line of Grandview, brings up 2nd down and 8 yards for the Blue Raiders. So clock moving, approaching 13 minutes here, third quarter. 7-point advantage for Lindsey Wilson, who is up 17-10 right now on the Vikings. Now it's Beasley who's going to throw it over to the right and connect with his receiver, Alan Cooks. As he's tackled to the ground, it'll bring up about 3rd and 4 for Beasley and company. Now into 13 minutes to go. Lindsey Wilson looking to continue this drive here on their first possession of the second half and look to build on what is a 7-point lead at the moment for the Blue Raiders. So Beasley has 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and 1 man in the backfield goes in motion out to the right. He's going to fake to him and going to keep it on a draw to the left and get a first down as Beasley right at the markers. And Beasley's going to get him a first down as Josh Kirk was there to stop him right at the sticks, but it is indeed a first down for the Blue Raiders. Now we're approaching 12 minutes to go here in the third quarter of this ball game. 2 of 16 teams left in the NAIA as it is opening round of the football playoffs here in Columbia, Kentucky. Lindsey Wilson playing host to Grand View. One team will move on to the final 8 here as Beasley throws it across the middle, and it's intercepted by Grandview. Dangerous pass, thrown across the middle as he was being sacked, is intercepted. And as Steve Lee comes away with the interception right at near midfield, gets the ball back into the hands of Grandview as now as the offense will head out with 11:56 to go. Down by 7. Jordan Knock and the offense back out onto the field due to the interception by the defense, looking to switch the momentum over here and get on the board. As Knock takes the snap, hands off to Cheatham. Cheatham will run straight to the left, near the out of bounds, and really about it as the defense of Lindsey Wilson collapsed and wouldn't let him go anything forward, so he just went straight left with that and out of bounds with 11:49 to go. We'll bring up second down. 2nd and 9, as Cheatham was able to get 1 yard there on 1st and 10, handoff from Knock. As there's an injury on the Lindsey Wilson sideline, causing a bit of a delay in the game. He is off the field and on the sideline, however, needing tending to is the Lindsey Wilson player on that tackle of Jordan Cheatham near the sideline. So the stoppage in play right now. While we have a moment, we want to let you know that the men's soccer team will compete tonight at 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time, as they are playing 18 miles away from where I'm sitting right now in Columbia, Kentucky. That is in Campbellsville, where they will take on Campbellsville University in the opening round of nationals themselves, as they are the Heart of America Athletic Conference tournament champions and received an automatic bid into the soccer tournament. In cross country, Maren Jepson individually competed today at the NAIA Women's Nationals in Illinois, where she took 166th place. Also, women and men's basketball is in action today at Culver-Stockton. The women getting underway here within the next half hour at 2 o'clock. The men will follow. Women's volleyball also advancing to nationals. They even got a first-round bye, so they won't compete for a while yet until nationals take place in Sioux City. Wrestling is at St. Charles, Missouri in the Lindenwood Open today, and Grandview shooting teams will be at Tiller, Arkansas for their final meet of the season this weekend. As there's an injury on the field of a Lindsey Wilson player down on the sideline as he's tended to. Teams will head to their respective sidelines for this timeout. Other teams around the NAIA competing today. There's 8 games, 16 teams. And where we stand right now, Marion on top of Robert Morris, 19-0. Lindsey Wilson on top here, 17-10. Baker on top of Sterling, 24-14. St. Francis, 44-20 over Missouri Valley. Morningside over Tabor, 30-17. And Reinhardt on top of Southeastern, 24-7. Back in action here as Jordan Knock takes it out of the shotgun. Swing pass over to Cheatham, out of the reach of the running back. We'll have an incomplete pass as Jordan Knock was knocked down to the surface. So with 11.5 minutes to go, the clock will stop and bring up 3rd and long for the Viking offense. So third and long, Knock has Cheatham to his right, Brammer to his left, and three receivers to the right. He rolls out to the right. Blocking for him is Cheatham, and firing and completing right at the sticks for a first down is Tobias Tyler, who's knocked out of bounds right at the mark. He even took down the first down marker with him as he went to the ground was Tobias Tyler. As a fresh set of downs for the Vikings now inside Lindsey Wilson territory as they try and get into the end zone to tie this up or get a field goal to cut into this lead. So Knock on first down, turns and hands to his left. This is Cheatham. Cheatham able to get about 3-4, bounce off a tackler, and it's going to be dropped right there. As he was able to get 3-4, he bounced kind of backwards, trying to break free of that tackle. In the process, he lost the yard. It's going to be a gain of about 2, so second down and 8. Under 11 minutes to go here, third quarter. Grand View Viking football playoff edition here on tvvikings.com and 88.1 KDPS Des Moines, where we are simulcasting today. Those of you on 88.1 heard Steve Harvey's halftime update. We appreciate those all year long, Steve. And back here in Columbia, Kentucky, it's Knock handing to his left. Cheatham once again. Cheatham able to get a yard. We'll bring up third and about 6 for the Vikings, who are down to the 39-yard line of Lindsey Wilson as they trail by 7, 17-10 here in the third quarter. Cheatham was the lone scorer. That wasn't a field goal for Grandview in the first half, as Cheatham was able to punch it in from 3 yards out in the first half, and Nissen hit a field goal to get on the board first. That's how Grandview got to 10 points. And then for Lindsey Wilson, they had a field goal themselves for their first 3 points. Then it was an 82-yard pass across the middle, Beasley to Doherty. Beasley to Sublett, Doherty with the PAT. And then Beasley also had a 1-yard keeper. Now we got 17-10. We have another injury down on the field, another Lindsey Wilson player down at the 35-yard line. And as mentioned, this is one of 8 games going on today. Other games in progress just getting underway are the 2 sort of later games, I guess you could say, all being played at 2 o'clock or earlier. It's Eastern Oregon up early on top of Dwayne, Nebraska, 7-0, and also Dickinson State and Montana Tech getting underway shortly to add to 2 of the 8 games. But now coming out of another injury timeout of a Lindsey Wilson football player, referee signal back to play action. So third down and 5, Grandview. 1 receiver left, 3 to the right. Knock drops back, looks to his left over to Brammer. He throws it towards the sideline. It's caught, but he's out of bounds. As Alex Brammer and Knock couldn't quite convert there, the third down and 5. So it'll bring up fourth down at the 39-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. Grandview offense going to stay out onto the field as they have 2 receivers left, Brammer and Clark. 2 on the right. Tobias Tyler spread out with Sarver. Cheatham in the backfield, helping out block. There's a flag on the play. Knox going to take a chance downfield, and it's going to be intercepted at the 1. However, there is a flag on the play back at the line of scrimmage. I believe Knox noticed something, thought it was a free play. So he tried to throw it deep into double coverage of Alex Brammer. When you've had the connections with Brammer that you've had all year long, why not? As both teams stay out onto the field as the referees signal to talk to one another, looking like it's going to be a penalty against Lindsey Wilson. So it'll remain Grandview ball even after the interception thrown on the chance by Knock. As it's going to be an offside on the defense, so no damage done for the Vikings. Great timing, though, as it was fourth down, so that'll be enough for a first down. Huge penalty there against Lindsey Wilson on the offside. So it'll be a fresh set of downs, and it'll move the ball 5 yards down to the 34-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. Jordan Knock and company moving the ball here in the third quarter. Exactly 10 minutes to go, down 7. Knock hands off to Cheatham. Cheatham over to his right, and just going to stay right on about that 39-yard line, or 34-yard line. Gain of nothing there on first down. by Cheatham. So second down and 10 coming for the Vikings. One of these two teams will advance to next Saturday. Who they will play is to be determined, as it's not a playoff. Instead, it's reseeded. Everything's looked at again after every game, so neither team knows who they could be playing. We'll just have to wait and see right now. So the main goal at pass is just win this ball game. As it's another handoff to Jordan Cheatham. Jordan just going back and forth between choosing of sidelines. This time he went left sideline for a gain of about 1, maybe 2. So they're going to signal third down, and Cheatham was able to reach at the very end of the play and try to get some more yardage. Cheatham, not very tall, but full-length body, gets it down for about a 4-yard gain. So they're going to say third and about 5 here as Knox throws it over to Clark for a screen pass on the right. Clark makes the move, and he's going to be near the first down marker. It's extremely close as he got it down right to about the 25-yard line off the pass and blocks there from Sarver and Tyler. They're going to say half a yard short, so fourth and very short for Grandview. Offense definitely going to stay out on the field for this one as it's down to the 25-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. 8:40 to go, third quarter here, fourth and short. Knock will take the snap out of the shotgun with Cheatham to his left. Sarver to his right. Clark, Tyler, and Brammer to his left. He's looking over to Sarver on his right, and he's got it for a first down. But a 4-yard gain, but that's all they needed. A pass right to the sideline. Completion to Tice Sarver gets another first down on fourth down for Grandview. So again, a fresh set of downs, keeps those chains moving, keeps the clock moving. Even though Grandview trails by 7, they just keep it going here in what is now the third quarter, trailing by 7. Knock, taking his time, making sure everyone's on the same page. We'll take it out of the shotgun. He'll throw over to Aaron Schultz, who's into the ball game for Grandview. Too far ahead of him on the swing pass. Incomplete. We'll stop the clock here on first down, bring up second and 10, as Schultz will head back over to the sideline. Marshall Clark will come back in to join Brammer, Sarver, and Tyler. The receiving corps spread out for Grandview. Jordan Cheatham. Trey Smith's been switching off some duties. Cheatham taking most of the handoffs from Knock afternoon. He is in the backfield. Now Tobias Tyler goes from left to right, and they'll hand off to Cheatham. And let's play action as they throw across to Tobias Tyler. A one-handed catch. Tobias Tyler down to the 5-yard line. Play action. Taking out the play-by-play man and everybody there as Knock decided to keep it, not hand off to Cheatham. Tobias Tyler, who went in motion from left to right, lined up in the tight end slot for blocking on the right side, went across the middle, made a one-hand leaping catch, and came down to the first and goal Grandview, down by 7. As Tobias Tyler now spread out to the right, joining Sarver there on the right, Clark and Brammer to the left. Cheatham remains in the backfield. First and goal, 7.5 minutes to go. Not going to keep it here on the draw play, and he's going to get pushed forward to about the 2-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. So Grandview, so far so good on this drive as they are controlling the possession time here in the second half like they did much in the first half, as they had it for 18 minutes in the first half, almost 19 minutes, doing that just here in the third quarter. Exactly 7 minutes to go, down by 7. Grandview knocking on the door. They're at the 2-yard line of Lindsey Wilson. Not going to take out of the shotgun. He's going to look to throw to Brammer. Quick pass and touchdown, Grandview. Alex Brammer able to get in front of his defender. Quick pass, slant pass from Knock. It's 17-16 here in the third quarter. 6:50 to go here from Columbia, Kentucky. Very quick play on what was a very long drive for Grandview, resulting in touchdown. Joey Nissen heads that onto the field. Knock will be the holder as we look to once again tie this ball game up for Grandview. Again, 6:50 to go, third quarter. Grandview into the end zone. Knock to Alex Brammer as Nissen has it partially blocked, and it still gets in, gets just over the post as his PAT was blocked, but still had enough oomph on it, I guess you could say, to get in through the goalpost. So 17 all is where we stand right now. 6:50 to go. Third quarter in the opening round of the NAIA FCS playoff. So whether you're listening to KDPS 88.1 in Des Moines or you're listening anywhere on gvvikings.com, you're hearing a good one here from Columbia, Kentucky, where it is 27-27 between the visiting number 10 Grand View Vikings and the home team, the Blue Raiders, and their number 8 ranking of Lindsey Wilson. The winner moves on to next Saturday to be determined on who they'll play and to be determined on where they'll play. The higher seed of every matchup in these playoffs will be the host team. There are only 16 teams left. 8 ball games today will determine the 8 teams left and 4 games next week. But for right now, worrying about this drive of this ball game in these final 48.5 seconds. It's Lindsey Wilson coming out of the timeout, 3rd down and 8, ball at the 47-yard line of Grandview. Beasley once again out of the shotgun, has a back line up to his left, 2 receivers to his left and 2 to his right. As he drops back and looks across the middle, he's going to fire across the middle where it is dropped. There was an open receiver and it's dropped at the 30-yard line for the Blue Raiders. Sigh of relief on the Grandview sideline and the Grandview coach's box, as that brings up 4th down and 8 near midfield for Lindsey Wilson. The punt unit is out there as what you would think is an attempt to push Carrera, the return man, and Grandview back deep into their territory and basically hope for overtime. 43.8 seconds to go, 27-27. Carrera standing back at about his 10 to return this. Looking into the sun, and the wind will help Lindsey Wilson as they punt it away. It's a high spiraling kick. Carrera's going to get away from it, and Lindsey Wilson does just what they intended to do, and that gets it down deep into Grandview territory. They're going to mark it at about the 4. So Grandview, 1st and 10 from the 4-yard line of their own territory with 35.2 seconds. Will have a chance to do something with it and maybe trying to get into field goal territory for Mr. Joey Nissen. For right now, though, one play at a time is where Jordan Knock and company will take it, as Sarver and Clark will head out to the right, Brammer to the left. Tobias Tyler in there blocking for the tight end, and Jordan Cheatham in his own end zone is the back as he gets it handed off to him, and he's got some room. He's going to break it out to the right. He's going to get it out to the 20-yard line and get out of bounds. So from standing inside his own end zone to about the 20-yard line, Jordan Cheatham from the handoff from Jordan Knock is where the clock will stop and the chains will move with 27.2 seconds to go in regulation. So Knock will again be joined by Jordan Cheatham behind him and have 3 receivers spread out. They're going to hand off to Jordan once again, this time up the middle. Not much going there, and Jordan's going to remain in bounds where the clock is still moving. 15 seconds to go in regulation and ticking. Now when you're this far deep in your own territory, it's not going to be worth it. And that is the end of regulation where we are all tied up. 27-27. So overtime here between two teams that are very similar on paper and clearly very similar in person when you watch them go head-to-head here at Columbia, Kentucky, between the visiting number 10 Grand View Vikings and the host team number 8 Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders. Andrew McGuire here with you for what is going to be an overtime game here on the campus of Lindsey Wilson in this opening round of the NAIA FCS National Football Playoffs. The winner of this overtime game will advance to the national quarterfinals. as the referees get together at midfield. Aaron Adams, Zach Griffin, Brian Dusick, Greg Otterman, Josh McNeil, Chris Ellers, and Dave Perry, all the designated referees and officials this afternoon. As there will be a coin flip to decide this overtime game on who has possession first, or who wants it first. As we take a look at your end of regulation stats, 27-27 is where we are right now. 28 first downs by Grandview, 6 by Lindsey Wilson, 53 rushes for 200 yards by Grandview, 27 rushes for 85 yards by the Blue Raiders, 304 passing yards for Lindsey Wilson, 267 for the Vikings. And for the rushing game, Jordan Cheatham has had 32 attempts in this ball game for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jordan Knock has ran it 15 times for 26. As we try and take a listen here to this coin flip. As Grandview sends out their team captains to midfield. 3 of them, Lindsey Wilson will have their 1 out at midfield as the coin flip is up. As it appears Grandview is going to win the toss. As Grandview appears to have won the toss. And if we can get the mic here, it's going to be on the far end of the field where the wind is going against. So I believe Grandview will have it first here to start out overtime in this opening round of NAI FCS football playoffs here from Columbia, Kentucky, as the teams look to get situated and send out their first units out onto the field for what is the first part of this overtime in what is a 27-27 ball game. As it appears, Grandview, their defense is going to go out onto the field first and try to stop Lindsey Wilson from getting into the end zone. Lindsey Wilson is going to have to go into the wind with the side of the field that it'll be on to start out overtime. Again, looking at how we got here, it was a Nissen 24-yard field goal attempt. Doherty tied it up for Lindsey Wilson at 3 apiece. Then Lindsey Wilson took the lead on an 82-yard touchdown. Jordan Cheatham responded with a 3-yard run of himself to tie it up at 10 apiece. And then at the half, we saw 17-10 in favor of Lindsey Wilson. And then Jordan Knock passed to Alex Brammer, was able to tie it up at 17 all in the third quarter. Joey Nissen gave him a lead with a 31-yard field goal. Then Lindsey Wilson was able to take the lead before Jordan Cheatham was able to respond and give Grandview the lead back. And then on a second attempt, Lindsey Wilson was able to get a field goal to go through and tie the ball game up, and that is where the game would remain, where we are tied up 27 all in this ball game. As Lindsey Wilson is going to start overtime first on offense, as they're not going to get much going on their first play, as it was a screen pass out to the right, kind of a swing screen pass, and not much going. So that'll bring up second down and long. For Lindsey Wilson here in overtime. Here we are in overtime here on tvvikings.com and 88.1 KDPS. Andrew McGuire here with you with this call of what is an overtime opening round game here. Now, dropping back is Beasley. He's going to roll out to his right, and he's going to keep it. He's going to get about to the 20-yard line before he's pushed out at about the 18. As Brandon Johnson getting credited for the tackle for Grandview is how Lindsey Wilson will find themselves at 3rd down and 1. 3rd down and about 2. As they have it first here in overtime. Of what has been a very back and forth and exciting game. And it kept going back and forth between who would have the lead. Regulation ends with it a tie ball game. And now they're going to pitch it to the right on 3rd and short, and it's going to be close. As he's able to break free at the last minute and get it just enough for the first down. They're going to say he got it. So ball at about the 14, 13-yard line is where Lindsey Wilson gets the first down. Trying to punch it in and score first here in overtime here with some free football here from Columbia, Kentucky in this opening playoff game, as they're going to hand it off straight up the middle, and not much going there for Lindsey Wilson as he's swarmed by the Grandview defensive line. So that'll bring up 2nd down at about 7 for Lindsey Wilson. Don't have to worry about the clock in college overtime, as that constantly says 0. It's just a matter of getting first downs and how and if you score in college overtime rules. So 2nd down, 7 yards to go for Lindsey Wilson. Heading into the wind and into the sun is where Beasley has a keeper, and he's going to get tackled to the ground by Willett of Grandview, bringing up 3rd and 4 for the Blue Raiders. 27-27 is where we stand in this opening round playoff game between the home number 8 Raiders of Lindsey Wilson and the visiting number 10 Vikings of Grandview. So 3rd down and 4. 27-27. Beasley will snap it out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right, and 1 man in the backfield. They'll hand it to him. He'll go left and get enough for the first down. He's going to get in to the end zone as the handoff to Jalen Sublett gets in to the end zone. What looked was just going to be enough for a first down, breaks free for a touchdown, and the Blue Raiders strike first in this first overtime after regulation to give them the current advantage, 33-27, extra point coming from the Blue Raiders. As once again they'll send Jared Doherty, the freshman kicker, out onto the field. The lefty kicker, as he'll try and make this a 7-point ball game in favor of the Blue Raiders here in overtime. Snap coming from the Blue Raiders special team. It's snapped, held, kick is up, and the kick is good. So it is a 7-point lead here in overtime for Lindsey Wilson. They're able to punch it in. And now Grandview's turn as the offense will head out of the field and try to do the same. A field goal, obviously not going to cut it. Got to get into the end zone and got to get the point after the touchdown. So the ball is placed at the same spot it was for Lindsey Wilson, the 25-yard line. Jordan Knock will start from there. Got to score here to try and force another overtime and advance to the quarterfinal round in these playoffs. The first play, he's going to fake to Jordan Cheatham. He's going to roll out to the right, and he's going to keep it. He's going to get a yard or two before he's shoved out of bounds. So on the first play from scrimmage, Jordan Dock able to get about a yard before he's pushed out. There's an official timeout down on the field for an injured Lindsey Wilson football player. So to summarize where we are here, we are in the first overtime after regulation where Lindsey Wilson had the ball first. They were able to punch it in for 7 points Now Grandview's turn as they start with it at the 25, currently have it at the 24 after one play, quarterback run by Jordan Knock. They got to do the same. They got to get in. They're going to have to get the point after touchdown if they want to force a second overtime. But for right now, the main goal is to get those 6 points into the end zone and then worry about it from there with whatever they choose for the points after touchdown. As the player comes off the field for Lindsey Wilson. And Jordan Knock out of the shotgun. We'll have Sarver to his right and 3 receivers to his left. Cheatham lined up next to him as they snap. Jordan wasn't ready for it. He jumps on it just in time. Oh, boy. As the snap came earlier than what Jordan Knock was expecting, he was looking over at the sideline. The snap hit him in the face and has dropped to the ground. Luckily, Jordan jumps on it just in time before Lindsey Wilson was able there to pick it up. That's going to bring up 3rd and long for Grandview. Grandview down by 7, 34-27. Right now, the main goal, get a first down here on what is 3rd and 16. After the 1-yard run and then the miscommunication of the snap and fumble, Knock able to jump on it. So 3rd and 16, clean snap this time. Knock drops back. He's looking, and he's going to be sacked. Back at the 45-yard line is where he's taken down. That's going to bring up 4th down for Grandview. So this is it. The original line of scrimmage was the 25. That's where overtime starts. Grandview needs to get to the 15 for a first down. However, in 3 plays, they've been pushed back all the way to the 41. So that brings up 4th down and 26. Right now, if you're chunking it out, the main goal and the only goal should be to get those 26 yards. Grandview's going to call a timeout here and talk it over as they need to get those 26 yards in this next play, or else the season is over.
You're listening to Grand View Viking football on KDPS Des Moines.
.com and 88.1 KDPS. I'm Andrew McGuire here with you for the call. Traveled with the team from Des Moines, 10 hours away is where we are now, Columbia, Kentucky, for this opening round NAIA FCS playoff football game, as one of these 2 teams will advance to next weekend, where it'll be the quarterfinal round to be determined on where and who they play, as the higher seed of whatever the NAIA decides and pairs together will be where it's at and who it's against. But for right now, you only worry about this game, and right now if you're Grandview, you only worry about this play, 4th down and 26, after what has not been a very good 3 plays to start your portion of offense at overtime. So coming out of the timeout is where Grandview will try and get this play done. 4th and 26, ball at the 41-yard line, down by 7. Jordan Knock will come out of the shotgun with Jordan Cheatham to his left, Brammer and Clark to his left, Sarver and Tyler to his right. The snap is clean. Knock dropping back. He's pressured. He's got to throw. He's going to throw deep, and it's a wobbly pass, and it is incomplete. It's incomplete, intended for Tice Sarver, and that is how it's going to end, folks, this afternoon, as Grandview drops on the road to Lindsey Wilson, as number 8, Lindsey Wilson, 34, number 10, Grandview, 27, final in overtime here from Columbia, Kentucky, on the campus of Lindsey Wilson. So it will be the Blue Raiders advancing on to the quarterfinal round next Saturday to take on whoever the NAIA pairs with them after all the games go final into the round of 8. As Grandview back and forth with the Blue Raiders all afternoon. They hung around. They had the lead a couple of times. They tied it up when needed, forcing overtime, as the Blue Raiders also forced overtime themselves, I should say, with them tying it up with a field goal. But then in overtime, it was Lindsey Wilson having the ball first. They took care of business, got into the end zone, and added the point after touchdown. Grandview wasn't able to do so on their 4 plays in overtime, and that is how the game goes final in favor of Lindsey Wilson. The Blue Raiders winning this one this afternoon, 34-27. What is a very good ball game, very well coached And when talking to Grandview coaches before the game, expected to be a very back and forth and close ball game. We had just that this afternoon here, folks, in Columbia, Kentucky, as it was back and forth, tied, and it even went into overtime. We needed an extra period of play in order to determine the better team on the field this afternoon between these two teams that were matched up by the NAI. Number 10, Grandview, coming up just shy in overtime against number 8, Lindsey Wilson. As we take a look at the final stats that include overtime and how Lindsey Wilson won this ballgame, 34-27. There were 28 first downs by Grandview, 18 by Lindsey Wilson. 56 rushes for Grandview by getting 184 yards, 32 by Lindsey Wilson for 109 yards. 267 yards passing through the air for Grandview, 305 by the Blue Raiders of Lindsey Wilson. 28 completions out of 49 yards for Grandview, and 18 completions out of 33 yards for Lindsey Wilson. Total offensive plays, it was Grandview with 451 yards, 414 for Lindsey Wilson. And on the ground rushing, Jordan Cheatham had 32 rushes for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. And passing, Jordan Knock had 28 completions out of 49 attempts, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown. He threw for 267 yards. Alex Brammer had 9 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. Marshall Clark had 8 receptions for 95 yards. Tobias Tyler and Ty Starver each had 3 catches. Tobias, 35 yards, and Starver for 21. Tackles on the defensive side of things, Jake Schultz had 10 total tackles, 1 for loss. Ben Slavens had 8. Also having 8 is Brandon Johnson. One of those was for loss, and also having 8 was Josh Kirk. As for the victorious Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders, rushing the ball, Jalen Sublett had 11 rushes for 35 yards. Blake Ingleton had 4 for 24. Sublett had 1 of the touchdowns. Beasley had the other, the quarterback. He had 12 rushes for 23 yards. And Cedric Washington, 1 rush for 18 yards. Passing, Beasley was 18 of 33 with 1 reception, 2 touchdowns, 305 yards on the day. His longest was 82. And that was to Jalen Sublett, who had 3 catches for 91 yards. Alan Cooks had 4 catches for 14 yards. 3 catches apiece for Stollard and Tate, 13 yards apiece for both of them. On the defensive side of things, Avery Ford led the way with 11 tackles for the Blue Raiders. DeAndre Hart, also 11 tackles, 3 for loss. Ben Mills and Jalen Kemp having 10 tackles apiece for the Blue Raiders. So once again, the final here in overtime. Lindsey Wilson, 34. Grandview, the Vikings, 27. And the Vikings season will come to an end here in Columbia, Kentucky in this opening round of the NAI FCS playoff football action playoff, as Grandview will finish the season at 9-3, and Lindsey Wilson will advance to next weekend's quarterfinal matchup, as they are now 11-1 on the season. They will wait to see who they play and where they play. I'm Andrew McGuire saying thanks for listening to me this afternoon on GVVikings.com and also 88.1 KDPS, and thanks for listening to Grand View Vikings football all season long on GVVikings.com and 88.1 KDPS. As this afternoon in Columbia, Kentucky, on the campus of Lindsey Wilson, it was Lindsey Wilson, 34, Grandview, the Vikings, 27, in overtime.